What's up, everybody? I'm Josh Saleh, and welcome to AdoramaXP. In our last video, we did the entire story of God of War Ragnarok in case you were unable to play it, our spoiler cast. Now, in this one, we're going to talk about all the nitty-gritties, the things that I think we could have done better, the things that we absolutely love, from the menus, the characters, the stories, the twists, and more, the combat, and so much more. So let's go right into everything about God of War Ragnarok, what we loved and didn't love. Let's start with gameplay and combat. This, I think, was done so well. You were able to switch off with your weapons so quickly, either be the Blades of Chaos, the axe, or the 𝔸𝔻𝕆ℝ𝔸𝕄 spear. And the amount of speed that you can go through that was so seamless, and it felt so clean and crisp. In this game, you also have your special attacks, and you also have your relic attacks. And depending on who you're facing off against, you typically would switch them out, whether you're fighting against a berserker or dark elves, whoever you are, you want to find out their weakness and switch it to that. I found that berserkers were so hard to do long combos to and long ultimates to, so I would always switch those out to shorter ones. And that's where I think combat really hurt. The invincibility frames in this game was something that God of War has never done before. It felt a lot like Bloodborne or Souls games, where when you did a big attack, like a big combo or a big ultimate, they would not stun the enemy. The enemy would be able to attack you through it. So your health would actually go down when you're in the middle of a combo, and you can't roll out or stop once you do one of those L1 combos or those L1 ultimate powers. So that was really difficult to I guess, grasp, and it led to a lot of deaths for me. I was playing on hard, so the deaths stacked up quite a bit. But those invincibility frames were very hard to master. And I think they were trying to make it like a Souls game and make it a little bit different, which to me, God of War has never been like that before. Typically, when you do those big moves, it should stun those enemies. So that was something new that I had trouble grappling with, and it made me frustrated. Again, I probably should have made the difficulty down a little bit lower to help me through it. This game incorporated playing as Atreus, so it was a lot of fun to play as a new character, to have a bow and arrow, to have kind of quicker attacks, more stun attacks. Which was also interesting was that you could level Atreus up. So as you leveled Atreus up, you felt more powerful. You don't play as Atreus too long in this game, and during the game you kind of felt like, okay, I wish there was a little bit more complexity to Atreus' combat, because you do play as him, I want to say 4 to 5 times in a chapter, like 5 chapters. So I wish there was a little bit more to his combat, like Kratos' because Kratos you can put some wild combos in, and Atreus I felt like it was a very linear combo that I was kind of repeating over and over again. What was really cool about this game is you have Sindri and you have Brock and you have Freya that is joining you in these missions. So you're seeing their powers. You're seeing them doing combo moves, which is really cool. So you really had some really interesting dynamics with characters. And that brings us to characters. This game had such immaculate writing. It was dripping with beautiful writing. And I was actually shocked. There were moments where my jaw was on the floor, or I would feel like my eyes get watery, or I would just be like, that was such a good line. That was incredible. I would still quote this game. I mean, we quoted the first game, like, boy, so many times. And, is that because of the writing, or is that because of the voice acting? And I say both. I think both are stellar. A+ across the board. Some characters really stood out, and one of them is Brock and Sindri. They're some of my favorite characters in this game. Brock, because of his carefree attitude, saying whatever he wants, he doesn't care. And Sindri, because of his character arc through this. Sindri goes from the first game, can't touch germs, scared of everything, anxiety driven, to someone who doesn't care at all, who doesn't care about getting his hands wet, is covered in Brock's blood. As soon as Brock dies, he becomes a completely different person. And to see that change in his eyes and in his movement is so chilling. It is incredible. I'll never forget that. And if there is another game where Sindri is in it, I cannot wait to see where he goes and what he becomes. Some more characters that I think are unforgettable are Freya. We see a whole new side of Freya to this, going from wanting to kill Kratos to realizing, you know what, let's form an alliance, and then she forgives. We see a lot of forgiveness in this game, which is really warm. I call this game the God of Therapy because a lot of people are going through a lot of therapeutic moments. Kratos apologizes for the first time in this game, which is a shock. I've never seen that happen before, and I didn't think that would happen. You see Atreus and Kratos' world become a stronger bond, Freya included in that. So you see a lot of different people working through their differences. Odin was a little bit interesting to me. I didn't love and I didn't hate Odin. Now, the reason why is because I wanted to hate Odin. I needed more reason to feel for Odin, to see how bad of a person he was. I don't feel like we got enough of how bad Odin was. We got stories from other people for sure, but stories are just verbal stories. I need to see him becoming an evil person. Like we saw from previous God of War, Zeus. I wanted to murder the heck out of Zeus, Ares, etc. So I wish we got more of Odin visually rather than verbally in his story, just to really want to hone in on that death of him. Because I feel like I didn't really care for him either way. Now, I'm not saying his character or the voice actor, that was incredible, but just I wanted more to hate him. Thor I thought was awesome. I loved Thor. I love everything about Thor. Here's a guy who's at his end of life. He just doesn't care anymore. He stopped drinking, but now he's drinking again. His family is breaking. He's being burnt down from Odin. He feels like he's useless, and he's just treated by everyone terribly. He just lost his two sons. So I really, really loved Odin. The look of Odin, the speaking of Odin, and Mjolnir was so cool. And I love how like the snap to bring Mjolnir back. What I do wish was I wish that we were able to wield Mjolnir, either as playing as Thrud or playing as Kratos with Mjolnir. That would have been insane. And I think that would have been really cool to have that. Mimir, as always, is one of my favorites. I love Mimir. He does a fantastic job of just bringing comedy to each scene. The Norns were really cool, and I love how they were interrupting Kratos and speaking for him as what he would say. So they did a great job of characters. Now, story. I thought they fit too much into this game with the story, with the side quests. I mean, there's almost over 60 hours of content in this game, and I think that's where it kind of breaks down. This game is the second one of this, and they're not making a trilogy. They only wanted to make 2 games. So with that being in mind, they have to fit more in. And I felt like a lot of the story and the important, juicy parts of it were in either the lore or even in the verbal talking. They filled a lot of gaps in the dialogue of this game. So it was more listening rather than seeing, which I thought was sad to hear. I wanted to see more and to be a part of things more than just learn about it. There was a lot of side quests, and I think too many side quests, and that's where it got bogged down. I mean, granted, look, side quests are optional. We don't have to do them. But Vanaheim has 4 different areas. That was insane to me. And other realms have bigger areas, and fast traveling to different rooms or realms was a headache in itself, because then you have to take a boat or a sled or get through this way. So it took too long to get to where I needed to go. So that was a pain point in my opinion. And there was a lot of side quests that were like, collect the flowers in every realm, collect the lizards in every realm, open up the realm tears. Like you had to go to each realm again over and over and over again, which got pretty daunting and pretty exhausting. The last 20 hours of the game, I think I was getting kind of tired of it and was like, okay, I'm ready. I want to get to the end point here. Granted, I could have skipped all the side quests, but I love side quests. I want to play the game. One thing I think they could have really improved upon were the menus. The menus were really cumbersome and overwhelming. It was menus within menus. I thought they were going to take the first game, which was also cumbersome, and kind of rework it and make it easier to work with. But it was a lot of acts within menu, within this, within that, and you had to like upgrade things multiple times to get like the look of it. So when you switch your look out, so I was hearing Brock's, that's gonna stop even a paper cut, and I'm like, okay, if I hear paper cut one more time, I'm gonna go crazy. So I just thought the menus were a little bit not the best, and they could have got more polish on them. I mean, is that going to hurt the game? No, it's not. But if you play it for 60 hours, it's going to be like a little bit exhausting. Now, despite the bad and the ugly, God of War Ragnarok is still an incredible game, and it's a must-play for all PlayStation owners, and especially if you're a God of War fan. God of War 2018, though, I think was a little bit better than Ragnarok. It was the first introduction of this new world, of these realms, of this mythology, and it was also that new camera mechanism where the camera right over the shoulder of Kratos. Now, this did introduce some brand new characters, and it got us more in depth into character arcs for Freya, for Atreus, for Sindri especially. And for that, I think it's incredible, and I love it more so in terms of character development. But that first game, I think the storyline was super concise and was exactly what we needed. This one was a little bit more daunting and felt more of a DLC, like the second Batman Arkham, right? Where it was still the same thing. It just built more, it just gave you more of the same thing rather than giving you something new and exciting. So I do think that it does get a little bit less of a score than God of War 2018. But again, it's a fantastic game. That doesn't hurt it. Just felt like more of a DLC than a brand new game. But y'all, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment so we can grow this channel even further. I'm Josh Saleh. This is AdoramaXP. Peace.